Good evening. My name is Peter from Promega Leather. And please always remember you are the creator. You make things happen. You make things happen. You create stuff from nothing. Always remember that. You are the creator. You are, let me say, you are the God. You are the creator. You make things happen. The demigod, because there is another God, the bigger God. You are the demigod. You are the creator. You make things happen from leather. Always remember that. So with that being said, on our previous video, we talked about aligning our lock in such a way that one edge of our bag is not sticking out and the other underneath our flap. So we also talked about the problem of the flap not closing without a little push. Like in this case, you have to really push it to close. So today, we are here on this video, we are here to address that problem. So there are two ways you can address that problem. The first way is to raise this part of the lock by the gap you have here. So you measure from there to there and you raise this in your pattern. So in this case, I did the measurement is 3/4 of an inch. So this is the old pattern. So from this edge right here, I added 3/4 of an inch. And this is the 3/4 right there. From this line to there. That is the 3/4. So also remember that when you are doing this bag, you're doing a design like this one where you have one piece of leather stretching from the flap in front, the top, all the way to the back, the bottom, and the front. It is advisable to always start your pattern from your gusset. You determine how high you want your bag to be from the gusset. You determine how wide you want your bag to be from the gusset. In the case of this bag, we at Promega Leather, we wanted this bag to be about 2.5 inch. So we went ahead and made the gusset 3 inches. We went ahead and made the gusset 3 inches. Yeah. So let's proceed. I will come back to that. Let's proceed. So we measured from here to there and we had 11.25.1 millimeter of an inch. So that tells us the distance from here. If you were like traveling, if you were like a little man, a little ant traveling from there all the way to there, you will only do all the way to this point, you will only do 11.25.1 of an inch. So that is the distance from here to this line right here. This line is where our gusset will stop in the back of our bag. Okay, so the height of our gusset here is 4.25.1. So we'll go ahead. First, we will measure from this base. We will measure 11.25.1 of an inch, and we roll a line. That is that line here. Now we're gonna do a second line. We'll measure the height of our gusset. We'll measure the height of our bag, which is 4.25.1. 4.25.1 right there. 4¼ .1. We rule another line right there. So that gives us the first and the second line. Then we go to the third line. So we measure 4¼ .1, which is the height of our gusset. We measure that and we rule another line right there. Okay, now let's measure this space from this line to this line is the bottom of our bag. Is the bottom of our bag. So let's measure. You can see we have 2 right there and a half. You know, a little bit more than, let's just call it 2½. We have 2½. So here we did 3 inches. Let's measure. We did 3 inches. 1, 2, 3, right there. And here, after this, we have 2¼ If you ask me, we have 2½. I'm sorry about that. We have 2½. If you ask me how, I'll tell you I don't know. I'll be straight up. I don't know. But experience, working with leather through the years, taught me this simple trick. When I started, I would measure my gusset, measure the height. I will do the height this way. Then I will proceed to do the bottom of the bag, which is how deep my gusset is. Then I will do the top, and I will see that my gussets were not always fitting. They were not. So that solves that problem right there. So from this line, now on our first parting, the distance from here to here was the top of our bag. So it was 1½ inch. While the bottom was 2½ inch, we made this part 1½ inch because actually we wanted this shape here. Somebody would say it's some kind of a 3D shape. Yeah, so we wanted that shape there. But for purpose of this lock not closing well, we went ahead and increased that by 3/4 inch. So now the top of our bag is not going to be 1½ inch, it's going to be 2¼ inch. So it will be 1½ plus 3/4 that we added at this other part, which is 2¼ inch. We draw another line. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Then the 5th line, which is this line, which must correspond with this line here on our gusset, the middle line. Here we measure, this was 2½ inch. This was 2½. Yeah, a little more than 2½. Let's just call it 2½. So we went ahead, we measured 1¼ inch. We can just increase that a little bit. We are not computers here. And we did another line right there. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. Like as I said, I will explain these 2 lines, these two, and this one on our next video. This line was scratched out. It was just an error. So that brings us to the end of this video. Once again, my name is Peter from Promega Leather. If you are new to our channel, please subscribe, like our videos. Let's always remember to pass the knowledge we learn every day, to pass it on to others. That is our our purpose of doing this video, to pass our knowledge on. Let us all build together. So until our next video, peace.